All right. Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Tom. I'm the host of the My First 1000 podcast, and today for our pilot episode, I'm joined by Owen of Quick Kits. Hello, Owen. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well, thank you, Tom. How are you?
Happy days. I'm straight up vibing, my man. I'm having a good time. Do you want to
Always
introduce
vibing.
yourself? Because for the few people who don't know you.
Oh man, yeah. Hello, I'm Owen, and I'm the creator of a YouTube channel called Quick Kits, which I started back in 2014. And on that, I make informational videos about scale modeling.
Yeah, I think that's very accurate. That's a good summation. I like that. I'll tell you what. I was watching through some of your earlier videos, obviously to see your journey to the first 1000, and one of your kind of outliers. One of the things that struck me is just the quality of the models you're actually making. So even back in 2014, before you got big, before anything, it's just how good the models are, how detailed, like how good the painting is.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I tried. I'd been doing it for a little while by then as well. So it wasn't like I just started making models as soon as I started the channel. I've been making models for a good few years before I started the channel.
Oh, okay. I was actually going to ask you about that. Yeah, I was curious of the time between when you started scale modeling as a hobby and then the time where you decided, maybe I'm going to start making videos about that. What happened in that time? How did you get from one to the other?
Okay. All right. So I started making models when I was, I'm going to say like 9 years old, and I started with like Warhammer stuff. Because my friends at primary school were playing Warhammer 40k. And so that kind of got me into like the model building side of things. And then when I was about, I want to say 13, 14, yeah, I got a proper model kit. Well, not a proper... Warhammer is a proper model kit. I got an Airfix model kit of a bomber plane, a World War II bomber, and I built that. I was like, these are cool, and I like the history behind the models and the aircraft and stuff. And then at around that same time, I'd started a YouTube channel making little animations with like clay figures and things. So I wanted to post some content on there because the claymations, as I called them, were taking a while to make. So I thought I would film myself making one of these model kits that I was doing, and I thought I could put it on YouTube and I could see if I would get any feedback on how I could improve my models through people in the comments. But it ended up going the other way, and people started watching the video and using that to learn things for themselves from what I was doing, rather than people feeding back to me. So I was like, oh damn, this hasn't worked. But then it started to get these I did like 2 or 3 where I built various model kits from Airfix. They started to gain a lot more traction than my animations were doing. I was like, oh damn, maybe there's something in this. And so that was when I kind of had the idea that maybe I could do a channel that was purely about building scale models.
Oh, that's really interesting, because I think that's quite a consistent thing between with YouTubers, where they do several channels first, or a few smaller channels first before kind of the main one. So I never realized you had one first, that clay one.
Yeah. It wasn't very good. I didn't really post much on it at all. I didn't really have it for a very long time. Or maybe I did. I can't remember. It's quite a long time ago now.
So was that was that like stop frame animations of the clay, that sort of thing?
Yeah, like stop motion animation, that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that again was kind of involving building models and stuff for the animation. So
yeah, because I went back to your first one. So what's currently live on the Quick Kit channel? The earliest one is in 2014, I want to say. And what struck me with that one is within the first 10 seconds, you've got an introduction, a voiceover, you got a picture-in-picture, you got 2 different sound things. There's a lot going on in just that first 10 seconds, right? It's not kind of what one might expect from a really early on video. So I guess it makes sense that you had a channel first.
Yeah, I practiced a bit, and also I'd kind of been watching a little bit of. I was trying to find informational videos on YouTube about how to build scale models, and I was really struggling to find any that were really good. And most of that was because like people didn't really show their faces. It wasn't scripted, so there was a lot of waffle that went on for like, they were like hour-long videos or whatever that hadn't been edited. They were like badly framed, badly lit, bad audio quality, and I just didn't want to watch them. So I was like, I want to create something that's a lot more watchable, a lot more concise. And so that's what I really tried to do straight away from the offset with Quick Kits, and just make sure that it was of a good quality. I mean, it's not. Looking back at it now, it's definitely quite dated and definitely could be a lot better. But I think it was reasonably strong for what it was in comparison to the other channels in the scale modeling niche. It was one of the better quality ones.
Okay. So you pretty much identified 3, not one, but 3, as you say, niches in the market there, being production quality, scripted, and informational. Informational? Instructional?
Yeah.
I don't know. Teaching people how to do it, basically, and you combine those 3 to make... Yeah, even, as I say, the ones I was watching earlier, they tick all of those. They're teaching people how to do it. They're around that 10-minute mark where you make use of scripts and time-lapse to teach people. Okay.
Well, I think it wasn't until a bit later that they ended up being around 10 minutes. I think when I first started, they were all around 5 minutes because I wanted to go with the quick kits, and that was kind of back in the days of YouTube when like 10-minute videos were probably considered long. Like that was before the algorithms and everything that made it like watch time related. So it was better back then to like make shorter videos. So that's why there are a couple of tip videos that are like a minute long or less, because that was back when kind of like little information bites kind of worked a little bit with the algorithms. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Maybe it's just because my channel was too small. Maybe larger channels would have not. I don't know.
Okay, over the years then, because it's interesting you mentioned the algorithm, because obviously that comes a lot into kind of the more marketing side, the branding side, channel consistency, the finance, etc., and driving clicks and how YouTube promotes your material. How much did you play into the algorithm over the years?
Not very much, I don't think. I obviously always tried to optimize like video titles and tags and descriptions, and I tried to keep up to date with like, when YouTube introduced the hashtag thing, tried to introduce that, and making sure that my thumbnails are good and stuff, but I've never tried to play the algorithm too much in terms of like the length of my content. Usually it's been as long as it needs to be. I've realised that I can slow it down now. Like back in the day, I used to like take the footage as a time lapse and like speed it up massively, so it was like fitted in 5 minutes, whatever the speed. But now I realised like within the past few years that that's not really a very easy way for people to understand what's going on. So now I still speed it up a little bit, but maybe only like 2 times faster than in real life. And I'm much more like choppy with my editing. So the video lengths are now more around 15 to 20 minutes.
Let's get into the meat of the matter then. So obviously this podcast is based on going from nothing to your first 1,000 subscribers. But before that, let's talk about your first 100. So we had a brief chat earlier, and you're saying it took you 3 months and 6 videos to get your first 100 subscribers. So talk to me about those first 6 videos.
So it was kind of handy because of, so 3 of those videos that were my first 6 were ones that I had already uploaded to my previous channel, and I just took, because I had originally uploaded them with just the build footage with not featuring me at all, but my idea with Quick Kits was that I wanted me to be in the videos to be like a personality that the viewers could relate to some extent, because that was one thing that I felt was missing from other scale modelling channels. So I basically repurposed what I'd already uploaded and just made it Quick Kits, with like the intro and featuring me and the voiceover, because the voiceover was something that I didn't used to do. But I was like, if I want this to be educational, informative, high quality content, I need to include a voiceover or something to take people through it. Right, because like, a lot of people just have pictures with like text on screen. But I was like, no, that's not good enough. It needs to be better than that. So I need to record a voiceover. Which was a bit hard for me because I hadn't always been the most outgoing person, and I don't know, I was a bit nervous about like being on camera, putting myself out to the world and recording voiceovers and stuff, and I was really awkward with it at first. And interestingly, one thing that I really struggled with was like reading scripts out loud, because like I don't think I had like read out loud other than in like the occasional history lesson, like since like, you know, learning to read back in, you know, year 1 and 2 when they like force you to read out loud. They're all just read in my head. So it was really weird to like have to present to a camera and then read a script. It was tricky, but I'm glad I did it because I definitely think it helps a lot. Sorry, where was I going with this?
Talking about voiceovers, but no, we'll come back to the voiceovers actually, because that's really interesting, because that's a skill you developed, you know, the public reading, and kind of your voice there. That's a skill you developed that you could use externally, that you've got just through doing your YouTube thing. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely helped me. I think it just generally doing the channel and stuff helped me be a more confident person with like socializing and talking and reading. Yeah, definitely a big help.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting actually. Well, I mean, because I hope you don't mind me saying, but your other hobby, I guess, that you developed into a career now is about camera and production stuff, right? So earlier on we were chatting about how you chose to do the script, the voiceovers, the top-down cameras. That was very much kind of the top-down camera. That's very much was that an existing style within the scale modeling videos community even back in the early 2010s? And
yeah.
Nice. So that was kind of existing production method that you used and then improved, I guess, with your knowledge of lighting, cameras, voiceover, editing, all that jazz.
Yeah, I mean, like back with the older videos, I didn't understand like how lighting and camera really worked. Like, you'll notice that even in the thumbnails for like the first and the third video that were on there, the white balance is wrong. Like, I didn't understand what white balance was and how to set it properly and stuff like that. So, but it was great because it meant that I learned how to do these things through making the videos, which has helped me now. Like, I understand a lot more about editing and lighting and cameras and things because of doing Quick Kits. So it's helped me in that way, as well as helped me, socially, I guess. My confidence. Yeah.
Well, do you mind if we talk a bit more about that socially then? I mean, developing your confidence, obviously. I guess, did you ever see in real life measurement where you could see, oh wow, my confidence has been directly improved because of Quick Kits, or is it just more a passive thing over time?
Probably a bit of both. I think there was this, like, a student TV like club that we did at college, and like, I think because of Quick Kits I was like confident enough to, when we didn't have someone who wanted to present, I would I put myself up for it, and everyone else was kind of grateful of that because no one else did. So we could film something. So I guess like it was probably that, and quick. It kind of just helped in collaboration with other things to make me feel more confident about things.
I like that you're very open about these things. So one of your more recent videos, which I'm a really big fan of, is where it's titled "I was embarrassed to admit that I had this hobby," which I just thought it was a really nice video for you to have made. Sorry?
Yeah, trying to get that clickbait titles. Yeah. That maybe is an example of perhaps me trying to play the system a bit there. Yeah, so I don't know. I'd been playing with the idea of making that video for a long time, and I didn't quite know how to word it, but I thought, like, you know, it's a problem that, well, not a problem, just an experience that I've had, and I'm sure that other people are going through it or have been through it, or yeah, too, and it might help them out. So it felt like quite a rewarding video to make, and from the comments that everyone put on that, it felt like, you know, it did have a positive impact that I had wanted it to have. So that was good. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, it was me talking about my experiences of growing up building scale models, which is kind of regarded as a bit of a nerdy, uncool thing to do. And yeah, but how it's helped me develop as a person to be who I am today, and have the opportunities that I have now. So yeah, that's kind of what I chatted about in that video.
Yeah, it's as you say, the comment section for that, it's it's quite remarkable just scrolling down and seeing the stories of everyone, because I think your audience is generally on the younger side, so I think it's really cool that they can look up to someone so prominent in the subculture of scale modeling and be like, oh, actually there's a face to a name here, and actually you went through possibly similar struggles, you know, to do with confidence, to do with, oh, this is a hobby that I don't know if I should talk about publicly. I think that's quite inspirational. I think that's a really cool thing for you to have done.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that's a different kind of video format to your traditional style of what you traditionally do. And I had a look back, and there's one where you actually talk about your filmmaking process, like how to make a Quick Kits video, how you made a video. And I was deeply saddened to see that didn't quite do as popular as, say, some of the other more viral ones. And I thought that's a great shame, because I think that's really interesting, because that's bringing together both your hobbies, of the camera production side and the scale modeling side. Are you kind of averse to that kind of content, or are you actually more leaning into that now, such as the recent one about you're embarrassed to have this hobby?
Well, the embarrassed to talk about the hobby one or whatever, that was kind of also as well me I've been trying to, with the past few videos that I tried to build my personality into them a little bit more, because before that, Quick Kits, apart from like the update videos that I did, it's all just very like information, and it's not really personality. So I tried to include a bit more of that, just because I realized that I could do, I guess, and it makes it more engaging, I think. But in terms of the videos about like the behind the scenes, because there's like a behind the scenes of a Quick Kits video, one where I go through my process of making the videos, and then there's, I guess, how to photograph scale models. So that's combining lighting and camera work to photograph and photography with model making. And yeah, neither of them have done as well as the videos that are purely about model making. I don't know if that's just because my channel's audience is just there for the models, which is probably what it is, and not so interested in filmmaking as well. Maybe if I made more of those videos and attracted more of a filmmaking audience, they would have got more views. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like people are here for the models and not here for filmmaking. So they can maybe appreciate, that my videos are good quality, but they're not really interested in how I go about achieving that. But then there are other people who have wanted to start their own scale modeling channels, and they have looked to those videos as like a resource from what people have commented. So they're helpful. They just haven't done as well as others.
I think it's neither though. I don't think people are there going to Quick Kits for just the models. I do think they are largely there for you. You know,
maybe it's because
you said you made a conscious effort early to include you as a personality for people to relate to, and you've been doing that for 6 years now. You know, I think Quick Kits is more Owen than it is the individual models. So, I don't know if you are a fan.
I'm glad.
I don't know if you are a regular Quick Kits viewer, please message Owen and tell him your opinion on the matter, because it's interesting to hear. Because obviously, where you go with that, I guess. Well, where do you think the channel Quick Kits? Where do you think the direction is heading? Say over the next 6 months, 12 months.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't really been able to do much content creation for YouTube, just because I've been busy with work and then moving house, and then just everything else to do with life has kind of got in the way at the moment. So yeah, and I don't have the space or resources to build kits at the moment where I am. So it's I don't know if things will improve.
It's quite a sad note.
I know, it is a little bit of a sad note. I don't know where I'll take it. We'll see.
Okay, well, we'll leave that one a bit open-ended. But on the job front, obviously, congratulations on the good job. Obviously, big question on my mind. Did you include the Quick Kits channel as part of your CV, as part of the application for that job?
I did, because of the fact that it was for a video production company, yes. And they did really like that. They liked that it had given me that background in like social media, running a social media channel, video creation, factual content, I guess. Because yeah, like I say, it's given me practice with cameras, sound, lighting, editing, social media, running, script writing, I guess, and stuff like that. So yeah, they were like, ooh, yay. And also the live stuff as well. They kind of saw that as something that they didn't really know about, and I knew a bit about. So they were like, they liked that, and they've wanted me to develop that. And I have now introduced that. So I've opened up a new area of business for them that they can now offer clients the opportunities to do live events and things through me coming onto the team and kind of like teaching them about it and then doing more research into it and stuff. So they're happy, I think. Yeah.
Yo, wow. Well, that's really cool to hear. It's very inspirational to hear. Do you reckon if someone told you 5 years ago that you'd be able to use a channel, to use your YouTuber channel and career to help get a job, do you reckon you'd have believed them?
Probably not, I don't think, because I don't know. Yeah, I guess like I never really saw it as, because I always wanted to do, I think like, you know, when I started it, I was like, I want to be a film director. So at that point, it seemed a bit far away from what I wanted to do. But over the years, as I've learnt more into camera work and cinematography, and ended up with this job being more factual based than narrative, it's definitely had a bigger impact than I thought it would originally. And looking back in hindsight, I can definitely see the benefits that it's had. Yeah.
Because I guess there might be. Was there any feeling of intimidation? The fact that by putting that on an application, someone could look you up and scroll back and see all of your older videos as well as the recent ones. That's a lot of content to allow people to judge you by. Yeah,
I was a bit worried about that, but like again, it's only me, I guess, looking younger and stuff. Like, I think because, like, maybe if I'd included more of my personality back then, I would be more embarrassed about it. I am still embarrassed about it. Like, I think I do have like a slightly awkward energy, and obviously look very young. But I think because it is generally just kind of like pretty straight factual stuff. It's not too bad, even though it's dated. So I wasn't too worried. Just like, maybe it was just me like knowing how I felt when I was sat there looking at the lens. Like I then read that energy from it. I don't know. That was good to know that maybe you don't see it that way. You don't read that energy from it. That's good.
No. Oh god, the internet's messing up a bit, but I'll just get back to you. If you just say a few words, and I'll see if I can hear you properly.
Hello, Tom.
How's yes, that's
sounding?
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess the question is then, kind of the immediate drawbacks or the immediate concerns that you had all those years ago about putting yourself out online. Would you say they've been vastly outweighed by the benefits you've got from putting yourself out on the internet?
Yeah, I would say completely. Yeah. That was, again, one of the things that I kind of touched on in that embarrassed to admit I had this hobby video, was that, yeah, it is, you gotta put yourself out there to get anything back. You gotta take those steps, I guess, to get started. And yeah, it was definitely worth doing, even though it was a bit nerve-wracking and a bit scary. Yeah, I would recommend just trying it, seeing where it goes.
Yeah, that's really good advice, I reckon. Because I guess that initial awkwardness or embarrassment that you had, even not including the benefits to you over time, the positive impact that I think you've had as a role model over people over time, kind of the external impact you've had to people, I think that's something quite special.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it is nice, like, that I do feel like I have helped people in some way. I have helped, improve people's lives in some ways from some of the comments and stuff that I've got. They've been like, yeah, it's really helped me, because like there are aspects of scale modelling. There's a whole charity centered around it called Models for Heroes, which is like using scale modelling as like a form of therapy, because it is like concentrating on a project and you go from nothing to something, as you mentioned earlier, and so by the end of it you feel like a sense of accomplishment. And Models for Heroes are using it as a way to help people cope with, like, veterans in particular cope with PTSD and depression and anxiety and stuff like that. So some people have found that through my channel, that they've seen a video and been like, oh, maybe I should give this a try, and then they've tried it out and they've come back and commented like, oh, this has really helped me out in this way, so thank you. So yeah, it's
wow, that's really significant as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So some people are a bit too quick to judge scale modelling as a hobby, but I think it's
and of course the severity of which as well, that PTSD can affect someone's life. I think to be able to help combat that and help people who are going through that, I think that is a huge thing. I think that's a very big thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the guys at Models for Heroes are doing fab work. Definitely with that.
Yeah, well, shout out to them. We'll include
shout
the links.
out to them. Yeah.
We'll include the links in the description, so check them out. Because I like I think it was some of your last year's video where something as simple as you had the logo printed out and you had that on your cutting board for Models for Heroes. I remember seeing. Just such a passive way to help people out. That's quite nice. Okay.
Yeah, I've been trying.
All right. Well, let's chat about then. Sorry, I got so sidetracked. But so we chatted about those 6 videos that got you from 0 to 100. Let's talk about thereafter that got you from 100 subscribers to your fabled first 1,000. Let's talk about that journey.
I think it's 2 months. Okay, that's 2 months. It was like August 31st. I technically uploaded my first video, and then by like November the 7th, I had. So maybe under 2 months, just.
Wow. So two months to 100.
Just under 3 months. Sorry, because September 31st, October 31st. Yeah.
Hey, so 3 months and 6 videos to your first 100 subscribers. Oh no, I've got hiccups.
No.
And thereafter, it actually took you from November 2014 to May 2015, 8 months to go from 100 subscribers to 1,000. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And a total of, was that 10 videos then? So it can't have been only 4 more.
Yeah.
Or was that 10 videos in that 8 months?
That was only 4 more videos, so that's the total number of videos that were uploaded to the channel. So yeah, it was like the thing with building scale models and making videos about them is it does take a little while to build a model. So it's never like, one thing I've really struggled with always is a regular upload schedule, because it does take so much time to make a video for it. They've never been regular uploads. So I think that's definitely harmed my channel's growth quite a lot, is the fact that there's not regular content. But yeah, I just put out what I could, and I tried to make it as good as I could, and it just had to grow in that way rather than growing from like the sheer amount of content that I was churning out. But I think it's good because it means that, you know, the videos are still helpful even though they're old. As I mentioned earlier, you can kind of like go back to them.
Well, you do literally have to watch paint dry, so you know.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because of course everyone always recommends have a regular upload schedule, and so it's interesting that you have succeeded by and large anyway without that consistency, and actually with long gaps between videos. Not that's a bad thing, obviously, because there is such a production value there that isn't quick or simple.
I think just to compare it to like channels in my niche like Plasmo and Andy's Hobby Headquarters, and I think even some channels like Night Shift Modeler, I think he's called, or just Night Shift. He started only like last year. I think he's already bigger than me because he uploads videos regularly, and Andy's Hobby Headquarters and Plasmo have been uploading regularly for many years, and they're on like 500,000 or 700,000 subscribers and stuff. So that is so that's like just a comparison of how much the upload schedule and frequency of upload does affect your channel growth. So in comparison, they've like taken off like kind of like that, whereas Quick Kits has kind of always been like a gradual climb, not so quickly.
So I guess the conclusion there is consistency results in more compounding over time then? Is that a controversial thing to say?
I think so, yeah, because, I mean, YouTube will always promote your videos then. It sees that more people are watching your videos because you're uploading more, you're getting more views, because you've got more videos and because you're putting more videos out. So the YouTube algorithm likes that, so it will continue to feed your subscribers. Engine. Yeah, exactly. But then the thing is like I think Plasma, the guy David who runs that channel, I think he has made YouTube like his career. So, because I have no clue otherwise how he puts out a video every week. That is mad, like considering the level of production value of his videos and the level that he builds his models to. It's just, I don't understand how he does it. Well, I do, because I think he just dedicates his whole time to it. But for me, Quick Kits has always just been a hobby, and so I've never like fully committed to it. I think that's one thing maybe my subscribers have not really realised, is they think that I just do Quick Kits, but unfortunately I don't, and I can't. So I haven't been able to achieve the content output that someone who was committing like their full time to would do. Does that sentence make sense? I don't know.
No, it does make sense. It's, I mean, you sound very pressured, I guess. Do you feel significantly pressured to come out with more and more content? Or do you feel like, where I guess, where's the line? Where's the balance between the pressure you feel obligated to make content and on the flip side where it is just a hobby and you'll do it when you feel like it? Where do you fall on that line?
I've very much always been on the hobby side of it, and I'll do it when I can. Isn't Quick Kits has never taken like priority over anything in my life, I would say. I think, apart from maybe with like the Telford videos where I have been like, I need to get these out to make them relevant. But yeah, otherwise no. It's always just been yeah, I've got some time, got nothing to do, so I'll work on this kind of thing. Because I think, I don't know, there was a time when I was like, oh yeah, I had a plan and I was gonna be like, yeah, I'll try and make sure that I release this video on this date of the month. I'm gonna do like a bi-weekly upload.
Oh, wow.
That never happened and was just impossible. Like I couldn't do that. And with like uni and college and everything, like it's just been too hard. Now I've got a job. You know, it's like there's never particularly been a time when I've just like been doing nothing other than Quick Kits. The thing is, like, I want my videos to be enjoyable, and if I'm not enjoying it, I don't think I get that energy would come across in the video. So I've just been doing it when I feel like it, so I can enjoy it.
Yeah, because it's artistic. It is a kind of passionate, enjoyable thing. So I guess you don't want to be thinking about the numbers. You don't want to be thinking about the marketing or the clickbait. It's a hobby in itself. It's relaxation from your main job, your main day life, I guess.
Yeah, I do have to say, actually, maybe it was nice to do. It was nice to do when I was doing like college and stuff because it was completely different. But now that I'm doing a job where I'm making videos, it's a bit more like, oh, I'm doing this at work. I don't, like, if I'm in the office editing rather than on a shoot, I'll come home and I don't really want to be on the computer editing. I don't want to do like a full 12 hours of editing and sat on a chair in front of a computer. So I don't really feel motivated to do it, so that's hard. But when I was doing like essay writing and stuff in college, it was like nice that I could do something completely different, being creative with editing and stuff. So it was a different way of looking at it.
Well, so what about, because you've outsourced the editing parts and you've dabbled in outsourcing some of the workflows before. Is that something you think did you enjoy that process? Did it work for you?
Yeah, it did work. It was with the hurricane video, and yeah, it did work. And it was nice not having to worry about it. It was nice to get someone else's take on the footage and stuff as well. So it was cool to do that. It was just the workflow of like, because obviously I've filmed like hours and hours and hours of footage. Transferring that to the editor was a bit difficult. Took a long time. It was like or like 200 gigabytes of footage or something, which took quite a long time to upload and for them to download. So it's not the best workflow.
200 gigabytes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what accounts for that? Is that, I guess, the footage that would be slowed down in post for the time lapse? But even then, 200 gigabytes, that's a hell of a lot of... That's nearly the size of Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah. Well, that's like, if you think about it, it's me recording with two cameras because it was for the hurricane video. And I was like, I want to do this with two cameras. I want a camera on me all of the time because I want that I want to be able to talk to it and get that kind of engagement and personality across. So it's two cameras filming in 1080p for I don't know how many hours, like maybe, do I usually get about 8 or 9 or 10 hours of footage by the end of a build? So like maybe like 20 hours of footage because 2 cameras. Something like that. That could be completely wrong, but yeah, it's a lot of footage, basically.
Okay.
Oh, Kendall's here. Hello. I'm doing my call.
Hey, Kendall.
Tom. What's up? Tom says hi.
So we've talked about, forgive me, because it's just very exciting. I got very sidetracked by the more recent and contemporary stuff, which is very exciting. But again, those 4 videos that took you from 100 to 1,000, did any one of them go particularly viral, or was it Like, what was it about those 4 videos, do you reckon?
No, I don't think any of them went particularly viral at all. I'm just having a look to see what they actually were. I mean, the Spitfire one did go down pretty well because it's such an iconic aircraft, it's getting Googled a lot. So that one did kind of take off. The other ones, not so much in that time period. I think it was when I made a video called 25 Tips for Scale Modelers. And that one was probably my first like really successful video where I did genuinely see the views and engagement and subscribers like increase quite sharply from that. I think because it's more general about just like, because scale modeling is a niche, but then in itself it's just divided into sub genres, I guess, of like military modeling, like armor, military armor, cars, planes, ships, and then even within those genres, like even other subgenres, like so like cars, you got like modern, retro, fantasy, remote control cars, model cars, like, you know, it's a whole. It's such a so scale modeling isn't. I wouldn't actually say maybe it's not even that much of a niche because it includes like even like fantasy modeling, like Star Wars, Gundam, or Gunpla suits. You know, like kind of anime, mech tech stuff. So it's like massive dioramas is a whole thing, and then railway modeling. You know, it can count as scale modeling. So it's huge.
Yeah, there's all these spiderwebs of subcultures within.
Yeah.
Because I would say you do mostly old war vehicles, war armor and planes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, World War II armor and planes. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of them, and of course that was you ended up IRL. You ended up making a film all about a World War II pilot.
Yes, that was fun.
That was good fun.
That was yeah, that was my final year film for uni. We did a World War II film about a guy who, had to deal with the pressure to join the RAF. And we used a little model hurricane for some VFX in one of the shots, courtesy of Quick Kits. Yeah.
Courtesy of Quick Kits. Oh, bless.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the Spitfire's such an iconic vehicle, that's always going to get stuff over time. So what do you reckon that was the main of the 4 that led to that kind of sudden growth?
Yeah, I think so. Possibly one of the Tamiya tanks that I did as well. Because that's the other thing is like Airfix is quite a big brand in this country, and I do a lot of Airfix stuff, so I've done quite well in the UK, but it's like in other countries Airfix is not the main go-to manufacturer of scale model kits, so Tamiya is bigger in America and Japan. So that, by making that manufacturer, that kind of opened me up to that audience. So it's mad when you think about it, and like going back to again probably like why my channel hasn't grown as much as Plasmo, Andy's Hobby Headquarters, Night Shift Modeler or whatever. They have also branched out a lot more into like building models from within the different genres of scale modeling. So battleships from modern and historical eras, motorbikes, cars, mech suits and stuff. So they've varied it a lot more, which I think is good. Because interestingly, I've done 2 videos on Polish planes, and with both of those videos, the Polish audience for my channel has increased with those videos. So it's like, yeah, I've only really built British and German World War II stuff, I guess. So maybe if I'd branched out more, I'd have more subscribers and stuff like that. It's a lot of factors affecting it.
You sound very hard on yourself. I don't think you should be quite so harsh on yourself, because you're doing a lot of, maybe if I did this, maybe if I did this. Whereas I think if you look at where actually you are now as a result of all your work, like you've been very successful with it, you know?
not thank you. Yeah,
I
don't
just
know,
worry
like,
about you, man, because you seem very self-critical when you really shouldn't be.
I don't know. I think maybe it's because I'm not. I don't know. I'm not overly concerned about how big the channel grows or anything. I don't know. I'm just trying to reflect on it in kind of like a useful way of learnings from it.
It is very useful.
I'm
It
just
is very
trying
useful,
to
obviously.
put it that way, I guess.
If rather than stay within kind of that niche of one or two vehicles, if you had actually branched out, got into Gundams, motorbikes, dioramas, trains, perhaps, do you think you would have seen more growth?
I think so. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's not that I'm not saying like, oh, I wish I had done this. I'm just saying that like maybe if I had, it would have grown more. But like, I'm not worried because like, for example, I tried building a battleship model and I didn't enjoy it, so I just stopped building the battleship model, and to this day that video has never been released. So,
where is the Bismarck?
Where is
That's
the Bismarck?
That's the question. How many videos do you reckon over the years where you've started filming them? Is it common for you to abandon projects or particular videos where you feel it's not working or you're not enjoying it? Get partially through the process.
Yeah, there's definitely. I've got several videos on my hard drive that I've half filmed of kits that I've just not finished. Yeah, and I've got like a whole document of ideas for like videos that I've just never got around to making or editing. Like, just never had the motivational time or whatever to make them. Like, but I'm not too fussed about that. I don't mind. But maybe my subscribers mind.
Well, isn't that a good thing though? Because it shows the consistency of quality that you have on your channel. They are consistent bangers, if you will, rather than a few and then maybe one or two that you're not happy with, for the sake of being able to just press the upload. You've actually kept the quality over time.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I don't know, because like, I guess with the things with the Bismarck and stuff, the reason that I stopped it, as well as not being able to, not really enjoying the kit, was also the fact that I didn't feel like I could put this video out as a way of teaching people how to build a model ship when I felt I was incapable of doing that. So, yeah. I guess yes. Then I could have put it out and it wouldn't have been a very good video from an informational standpoint, I guess.
So is that we've solved the mystery of the Bismarck then?
Yeah. Yes.
Now we know. We've closed the case. Okay. No, I think that's the right way of going about it, I guess. Okay then. I watched one of your ones which was very interesting, and I'm kicking myself because I can't remember the country now, but you chatted about getting an email about someone asking to add subtitles from other countries, so that people who are in the scale modelling communities in those countries who aren't predominantly English speaking can enjoy your videos. Was that a weird email to receive, to be like, oh Jesus, like that's a very tangible effect, that's tangible proof of kind of your reach of the people you're impacting?
Yeah, I guess I haven't had those in quite a while. It was kind of like, I think when the feature was maybe first introduced, a lot of people kind of jumped on that. Well, not a lot, maybe like 5 or 6, but it was like, people offered to do it, and then they realized how hard it actually is, because like, it's a 12-minute video. Scripts are usually about 2,000 words, around about that, maybe 3,000 to maybe in the range of 1,500 to 3,000 words, and it's a lot. Like, even just going through, and like YouTube's got a lot better with like its auto-generated captions, but before that I could not be bothered to write captions for my videos because it was so annoying, like having to type out what I said and like do the timings of it and stuff. Couldn't be bothered doing it. So I completely understood when people were like, oh yeah, we'll do this, and they did a video and then were like, you know what, this is enough for me, because it does take up like so much time to write out a whole video, let alone translate into another language, like,
and then match the timings as well.
Yeah, but YouTube I think has made it easier, but like, I don't know, because it's not being pushed as more as like a thing that people can do. I guess maybe it doesn't. At least for a small channel like me, people don't really care about it anymore.
A small channel, he says. Well, I guess, do you
Well, I
see
don't know,
yourself,
I feel like...
say, do you think it's realistic to aim for 100k within the next year for you? Just for context, you're currently on 65k, right?
Yeah. I don't know, because again, it depends on like how much time I'm actually going to have to create content. If I was releasing regular content, I think I probably could have passed 100k probably by now. I don't know if I will within the next year, just because I don't know how much content I will put out. I don't know. So I think, yeah, it is the regular content thing is important for growth. It's like anything really, isn't it? Like, if you want to grow, you've just got to keep producing, I guess.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I've had the pleasure of working with you IRL previously in the past, and I've seen how hard you work, so I guess I've got a slight bit of concern, which is, say if in a parallel timeline you were actually doing these videos, say, bi-weekly, in amongst all the work you've been doing, do you reckon that would have been a healthy lifestyle for you to maintain? Considering the production value of your videos. They're not quick.
No, it would have been, I don't think, no. I wouldn't have much of a life, I don't think. Because it would just be like sitting building models all day, and I don't know, not healthy in the fact that I'd be sniffing glue and all the fumes that are related with scale models as well. So, no, I'm glad that I don't do it full time.
Sniffing glue.
It's just too much. Yeah. Well, yeah. Not obviously don't sniff glue peeps, but
yes,
glue people,
yes, we do not do not promote glue sniffing here.
Don't produce and sorry,
only on my nose.
So don't endorse glue sniffing at all. But like obviously when you're building a model and the glue, you have to use the glue and you can smell it. So it's not good.
There we go. So it seems like an excuse to hide behind. Are we enabling here, Owen? No, I'm kidding.
Definitely.
I'm kidding. Okay, so I guess, say if you were chatting to some of your fans who are looking into starting a YouTube channel, starting the whole social media, putting yourself out there game. I think we've chatted a lot about consistency and how that leads to pretty much guaranteed exponential growth. Other than consistency, what would you say the main things are to aim for?
Definitely like making videos concise and focused, I think, because people like go there for a reason, and you just probably will click away if they're not engaged by it. So if you go off on too much of a tangent about something that's completely irrelevant to why they're there, I don't think that people will stick around. I think that good lighting is always very important, because I think with good lighting you'll get good images, and then and that will make your videos look more professional and you'll stand out, and it just makes it easier to watch. And then good audio quality as well, it's important, because people don't want their ears to be assaulted. Like, one of the criticisms I've got is that my old videos, the music is just really bad. And I moved away from that genre of like upbeat poppy kind of stuff, because I was like, oh yeah, it's got to be in keeping with like the time lapse, but I think the really fast time lapse plus the really crazy music just makes the whole experience a bit too frenetic. So with like my more recent videos, I tried to go with like the more calm Bob Ross kind of vibes, which I think fits with the hobby as well a lot more. So, but back in the day, I was like, I gotta have the energy, But I think it was a bit much, a bit too frenetic.
Yeah, because there's a bigger kind of the free YouTube soundtracks. There's this idea where it has to be kind of very loud, explosive energy to demand and hold people's attention. Whereas actually over time we've come to learn kind of the latter is true, where actually when you said yourself you're quite not shy on camera, but say laid back, a bit calmer, and the same as the Bob Ross style, and that was what on TV. I want to say, I don't know how many years ago. I want to say 10 to 20, 30, 70s.
I think
was it 70s?
I think it's 70s. Yeah.
Which is that's going on 50 years ago now. So we know that actually having the calm, reserved kind of energies, the peaceful vibes do very well, particularly I guess in the aspect of doing something creative as well, such as building a scale model.
Yeah, I think so. I think the change in music was good to fit the genre and my personality as well, and then that's just made the videos more cohesive, which is good for the style.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about, before you actually started your YouTube channel, you were on Instagram. The Quick Kits was an Instagram brand, right? Or was it under a different name? I don't quite know the story.
It was different. So I think what happened, because I'd forgotten I even did this, I think I originally started, off the back of my previous YouTube channel, I think I started an Instagram account called Model Kits. And I started posting just pictures of the models that I'd finished on that channel. And that kind of worked to build up a following of people who were in the Instagram community who were looking for like pictures of models, because it is reasonably large. But I mean, I only gained probably like 80 followers or something. So I probably gained a couple of followers on Instagram, and I had about 100 subscribers on my previous YouTube channel. So when I launched Quick Kits, it was good because I could rebrand this Instagram account as Quick Kits, keep those followers, point them in the direction of my YouTube channel, as well as getting people from my old YouTube channel to come to my new YouTube channel. So that helped, I think, probably initially grow the channel, because YouTube was suddenly like, oh, people are taking an interest in these videos, probably let's promote them. So that probably helped.
So I guess it wasn't straight from zero then. That was a good... Yeah, you weren't starting by default zero zilch. You actually had something to promote, kickstart a bit of a growth there. Yeah.
I think within like the first week I had maybe like 50 subscribers or something. So I was like, damn, this is good.
That is very good. Let's also talk about the name change, because the rebranding there is actually very, very powerful, I think. Because the name of what you've just said, I've already forgotten. Maybe I'm done. Maybe the name isn't particularly stand out. Whereas I think Quick Kits is very punchy. Like, I think that's a really fantastic kind of brand name.
It is one thing, that I've always been quite happy about, is I feel like it is kind of quite memorable and it is quite punchy. And I am really happy with it. Like, I've toyed with changing it.
No.
But I've always
Sorry, that's not for me to say.
Like, it just works. No, it kind of is. But, like, yeah. I think it definitely works. Because, like, if I debated it just changes to, like, what if it was Owen Edwards or Owen's Models or something like that, but it's, like, not as memorable. Like, I don't remember channels that go by names quite so much as I remember channels that have... I don't know.
I think your audience knows and recognises and likes both. Like, Quick Kits equals Owen Edwards. Do you see what I mean? It's not a case of one kind of is against each other. I think it's become very much unanimous because you've put the effort in to put yourself as an on-camera personality right from the off. Yeah, which I think is a good thing. Yeah, that I actively wanted that. Yeah. And also, you got your Twitter name is Quick Kits with the underscore for the spacebar as well. So that's a really easy, traffic driving there.
It's interesting because I was looking at Quick Kits on Facebook, and I actually only started those in 2016. So actually, like a year and a half, I think, after I started the channel, I then went on to Twitter and Facebook, just because they weren't social media platforms that I used personally at the time. Or I had a Facebook, but I didn't use it. I didn't really see the benefit in it. And to be honest, they've been the slowest growth for my social media anyway. So like my Twitter only has like 800 followers, I think, or something. Like the community just isn't very big on there. And then Facebook, I actually couldn't tell you how. I think it's like 1,000 and something followers I've got on Facebook. Again, I don't think the community's that big. Whereas Instagram, like, scale modeling is about posting images of what you're doing. So I think Instagram fits that best. I think there are groups on Facebook and stuff, but I don't know. I just don't like Facebook as a social media platform very much. I don't use it
I agree
personally.
with that. I guess there's a proportion of the scale modeling community which is of the older generations, and with that the older generation struggle more with social media use. And if that's hard enough, what is the hope of getting people in the older generations who don't even understand the concept of social media onto platforms that are one step further than Facebook, such as Instagram? Would you say that's a bit of a barrier there?
Possibly, yeah. I definitely feel like my analytics show that probably I have the biggest age range across YouTube, obviously, because that's my main platform. I think there's a skew towards the older generation on Facebook, and there's a skew towards the younger generation on Instagram. And I think with me, I prefer Instagram, so I don't know, this just feels like so much more engagement on Instagram. I prefer it as a social media platform. I don't know. I don't know. I think obviously Google kind of forces you to make an account now. So I think maybe older people have a Google account, so they can use that for YouTube, and then I think a lot of older people have Facebook accounts, so they use that. So I think it works that way, maybe.
I just personally feel it's quite a shame that the uses of these more modern social medias people are missing out on. Because, I don't know, say your granny's into stitching or knitting, that's probably such a massive subculture across, YouTube, across all of these social medias that they would probably really enjoy. Yeah. And it's a shame Pinterest, that the barrier for them enjoying that is simply learning how to use it.
Yeah.
Or being taught and shown how to use it, because it's more a case of not knowing where to look or start than it is an active choice of saying, no, I'm not going to engage with that. I don't think that's the case. I think it's they simply don't know what Instagram is. And so you're not going to accidentally stumble across Instagram on your phone and then accidentally install it. I guess these people are shown the way. It's tricky.
Like, I would say that I think that if you're going to create content, you need to be the one creating all of the channels that you might be able to find people on. I don't think you're going to be able to push people who find you on YouTube, for example, to also then go and follow you on Instagram. I think if they find you on YouTube and they have Instagram, they will find you on Instagram. So I don't think you can be like, get Instagram, and someone will go and get it, because they'll be like, well, I don't want Instagram and I follow you on YouTube, so why would I? I don't know.
Maybe. So if we look at the numbers in the UK, you're actually, of all the creators in the United Kingdom, you are 8,500, roughly speaking. I think that's very high on the list of all the accounts that have been made in the UK, 8,500. Let's take it back to your channel's inception, because we talked briefly earlier about the subculture of scale modeling and how even before you started your channel, you were watching some of the early videos and you were actually hunting for videos to teach you about scale modeling, and you saw there was a significant gap where no one was really making them. And so your channel, would you say it was partly created with an intent to fill a gap in the market?
Yeah, definitely, very much so. I noticed that it wasn't there and I wanted it, so I created it, I guess. So, yeah. And yeah, since then, other people have followed and done really well. And that's good. Yeah. I did think of something then, but I can't remember. Wait, fill in the gap in the market. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely good to have like a USP, unique selling point. And I think mine at that time was being able to have a production quality that was probably one of the few channels in the niche that had that. But then it moved more into, as other channels kind of got the hang of it and climbed as well. My niche became, or my unique selling point became the fact that I made models with a paintbrush and with tools and materials that are easily accessible to everybody. So I tried to make my videos like really accessible, which is another thing that maybe has helped.
I think that's really, because it's a bit of a meme, isn't it? That you don't use airbrushes, which is an expensive bit of kit.
Yeah, well, you can get them cheaper now, but I think it's also like the space. Like you need a compressor, you need good ventilation, you need a mask to use an airbrush and stuff like that, and not everyone has the space to use an airbrush. So I don't use an airbrush, and I think it's also a bit intimidating. Of like, you know, you bought a model kit, you want to paint it, you got paints and paintbrushes included in the kit, and then you go and you look and everyone's like, you need to buy an airbrush to be able to do this. You're probably just gonna be sad. So I wanted my channel to give people a bit of hope that good things can still be achieved with the humble paintbrush.
And you've proved it can be done as well, because I mean you get really gorgeous results. I mean that again, the whole one of the most basic things about your channel is the models that you make look really, really good. And you've consistently proved that you don't need all that expensive gear to get the professional results.
I think it's interesting just to comparing paintbrushes and airbrushes with kind of like lighting and cameras. Okay. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here.
No, I'm with you.
That's something that I'm interested in. It's like paintbrushes have been used for many years, and people have done fantastic works of art with paintbrushes, right? And at the same time, like people have shot gorgeous looking films with old cameras and stuff. And the reason that they still look good and hold up is because of the lighting. And the reason that the paintings hold up is because of like what am I trying to say? Like because the person who's painted them has like practiced a lot, got good with like colours and how to like the techniques of painting and stuff. And it's like you can't and buying a newer, better camera isn't going to necessarily improve the quality of like your film, and buying an airbrush isn't necessarily going to improve the quality of your models. There's like a lot more to it than that. I think that's what I wanted to say. I don't know if that was really worth including or not. I don't know. But it's like, I don't think you should buy, always be chasing a better airbrush. I think you can concentrate on being good at the basics. And I don't think you can always buy a better camera. For the same reason, you've got to concentrate on the basics, like good lighting, composition, etc., that you can do with any camera. Because like this webcam ain't too good, but the lighting's alright, so the image looks alright,
Whereas I've got an average webcam, but I don't know about lighting. That's why my scene doesn't look as good as yours.
Oh, well. It's still looking good though, Tom.
I completely agree. I think that's a really good point, because as you say, buying an airbrush won't make you good at scale models. Buying an expensive camera won't make you good at filmmaking. 100%. I think that's a really good point to make, and I think we all.
That's
I'm
a very
definitely-
nice way to summarize
Sorry?
that. Yeah, that's a very nice way to summarize that, Tom. Thank you.
No, I think
done
because I'm
a better
guilty
job
of
than
this.
I did.
I'm really guilty of this. I think we allow ourselves to hide behind the excuse of, oh, I can't make very good films because I can't afford a good camera. Whereas if a cinema camera dropped into my hands right now, I'd be really embarrassed because, oh no, I've got a great camera, but truthfully, I'm not 100% sure how to use it. I think that without it, I can hide behind the excuse of, oh, it's just because I don't have a good camera. You know what I mean? I think it's similar to that with models. Is say if someone can't get great results with a brush, it's far easier to admit to oneself that, oh, it's because that person has an airbrush, rather than, oh, it's because I haven't, done 5 or 6 layers, wasted over time and developed the skill and, learn. I think it's interesting.
And that was one thing that, I really wanted to get across to the channel, is that, it's not about how good your gear is. You can still do good things just by learning the basics, keeping it simple, having fun.
Yeah,
That's
I think
what I
that
want
kind
to
of
say with
energy
the
is very
channel.
much reflected in your community as well. That's very much reflected in your comment sections, that kind of energy. People not so much starting. I think people enjoy the whole starting culture of, oh, this is for basics, but actually by following you, because all the techniques that you show are really basic. They are very, very easy, except by doing each of them one step at a time to the models. The end result is fantastic. It doesn't look like a basic model at the end. It looks really, really beautifully done. It's an intricate work of art. It's a thing, So it's cool to see that you can get there by just doing the really simple steps.
Yeah, I'm glad that shows through.
Oh, this isn't me. This is your comment section, your community. So just before I let you go, then, and we'll chat. I guess your final thoughts on your audience of your fans who might be looking to start channels, start things of their own. I know we touched on it earlier as well, but what are the main things you would say other than filling a niche and the consistency and production quality?
Sprinkle in a bit of personality. Keep it kind of consistent, focused, concise, and have fun while you're doing it, because that'll come across.
Well, Owen, thank you so much for joining me for this first episode. I hope you've had a good time. Thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Enjoyed it, yeah.
And all kind of, I guess, the behind the scenes stories of the last 6 years of your channel. It's really interesting to chat about and hear from the man himself.
No problem. I've had a good time, Tom. Thank you very much for having me on. I'm an honoured to be your first guest.
Pilot.
I know you as well.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for giving up your afternoon to come and chat. All right. Cheers, Owen. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.